What's up, angels? Today we're going to be talking about Mortician. Now, what exactly about Mortician? Where did all the Mortician fans go? It's like, you remember back in 18 to 2021, dude, you couldn't even freaking sip a glass of water without someone shoving Mortician down your throat. You couldn't even freaking take a piss without like a horror VHS being shown in a picture with Mortician. And it's like, you had this big Mortician wave. And then it's like, you look at it now, it's like, where'd everyone go? Like, everyone got rid of their Mortician swag. Everyone got rid of all their Mortician for, like, hardcore. Like, you had, like, I mean, Mortician was so big, you had, like, the Deftone kids, like, their playlist would be, like, Deftones, El Nino, like, Static X, and, like, Mortician. But it's like, where did, like, everyone was like, Mortician till I die, bro. And then it's like, where are they now? Like, I see Mortician post stuff on, like, their labels, and it's like, it has, like, 3 likes. like, I don't know, it's just, like, it kind of dawned on me, like, it was such a prevalent thing. And then, like, it just kind of evaporated. Like, even, like, with, like, the Maggot Stomp stuff, and, like, Maggot Stomp completely got rid of, like, any type of, like, use of, like, caveman in, like, anything that they, like, touch. You know, like, nothing says caveman death metal. Like, all the bands on that roster are primarily, like, death hardcore, like, bands. Like, no one's, like, even on the, like, but it's like people were listening to, like, Last Days of Humanity, Nuclear Death, Viscera Infest, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, gore grind, brutal death metal, grindcore, you know, stuff like that. Like, we had, like, Jigsaw Terror, Malignancy, you know, Defeated Sanity, like, all being lumped with, like, all the Mortician fans. Like, it was, like, for once, like, putrid, rotten, slimy, grimy death metal and gore grind and grindcore was, like, really relevant and prevalent. Like, you know, you had, like, thrash kids into, like, this barbaric, primitive subgenres of extreme metal, and that all kind of just, like, faded away. Like, people were just kind of like, well, like, back to hardcore, like, back to Converge, you know? And it was like, you had all the, like, the sick horror movies, you know, you had all the, you know, people were posting massive collections of Mortician and, you know, all these different type of bands and styles, and it just kind of died off. You know, we haven't really seen anything since that really big. Like, there's really been, like, a big wave. Like, you see people talk about, like, Sleep Token a lot on, like, the underground, but that's not really, like, our scene. I mean, like, you know, there was, like, a war metal fad, there was a Mortician fad, there was, like, an incantation revival fad, you know. Now we kind of have, like, a New York death metal revival fad, but it is kind of more prevalent to, like, hardcore than it is, like, actual, like, metal. But with that being said, it is still an underground genre, but it hasn't really hit as hard. Like, nothing has really hit as hard since, like, the Mortician, Sick Horror Freak, you know, caveman days of, you know, stuff like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I mean, you would, anywhere, any show you went to, it'd be like half tie-dye shirts. Like, it'd be like half cattle decapitation and dying fetus tie-dye shirts, and then the other half would be like Maggot Stomp, caveman death metal shirts, Mortician shirts. Like, it was kind of cool to see. Like, I will admit, it was kind of cool to see such a barbaric, brutal band that hasn't released music in like 20 years so prevalent, you know. Like, I think that the peak of it was the Maryland Death Fest, the one with Devourment. That I would, I mean, you had, like, people that didn't even look like they listened to heavy metal, like, jump up and down for Mortician. And, you know, it's like, kind of like, the real question is, like, what happened? They just, like, stop listening to Mortician? You just like delete like all of it off your phone, like sell your CDs, sell your like your shirts, like keeping your dog like warm in their bed. Like where'd all the like where'd all that go? Like where it happened to like oak like sunglass stocks must have been like at an all-time high because all you saw was like pit vipers. Like the pit viper stocks must have been absent like insane. Like everyone was wearing, pit vipers, Mortician, you know, everyone had like mullets. It was like for once in like a blue moon, like simplistic, slimy, grimy 80s and 90s death metal was like at the top. And I kind of do miss it. I kind of miss everyone being into like putrid death metal, and that was kind of the norm. Like it felt normal, like when you said death metal or like a new death metal band came out, like something like Torture Rack or Fluids, it was like, oh, like this just sounds normal. Like it, like you would say like, oh, like an 80s or 90s like gore grind death metal like band like tribute came out, and I was like, no, like this is just death metal. Like that's what I thought of death. Like that's what I just thought of like as a death metal band that came out new. Like something that sounded 25 years old sounded like it was just normal. Like that was the normal standard of death metal for like a really long time. And I do gotta say, I do miss that that was the standard. Like that was the blueprint. That's all you needed. You didn't need crazy tech, crazy riffs. You just needed some brutal, cave, grimy, reverb death metal. And I think that that's kind of really missing nowadays in 2025, almost going to be 2026. Um, I don't know what the future of metal or underground death metal is, what it is, but good God, I think we need some different bands, I will say. For those who lived in this time period, well, I hope you lived because it was only like 4, 5, 6 years ago. But for those who got to live through and experience it, tell me your thoughts of how you feel about that time period compared to now.